If you want to drastically increase your response rates and your meetings booked with email, I'm going to cover 5 tips for writing unignorable sales emails right now. Tip number 1, you need to write a subject line that grabs attention. And there are 2 tactics that I rely on that work consistently no matter who your persona is. Number 1, lean on mystery. The goal of this is to pique curiosity by being vague. That could be something like, found it, or I think you're missing something. The whole point is for someone to go, what did you find? What am I missing? And then click your email to find out what it is. Now, the caveat here is you have to deliver on that curiosity within your email and ideally as quickly as possible. So whatever your opening line or 2 is, make sure that you connect to whatever that subject line said. Tactic number 2, lean on actionable. It's the complete opposite of mystery. And instead, you get hyper specific with a specific problem that you're going to cover inside of your email. For example, it could be things like 3 ways to have better cold calls, or how to build your sales team. Because right at first glance, I know exactly what's inside. Now, the key here is the person you're emailing has to care about that problem or else they're not gonna open it. Tip number 2, open with a trigger. Every time you reach out to somebody, you need to have a reason for your email. And that's where a trigger comes into play. The biggest mistake that sellers make is thinking that attending an event or downloading a piece of content is a trigger. But let's be honest, most people aren't downloading content because they want a demo. At least not yet. So instead, what you want to do is rely on your LinkedIn research to find things that they care about. There's 2 buckets you can lean on. 1 is responsibility. If you see that somebody is managing a logistics network across the globe, then you can probably figure out some of the problems that they have and how your solution can help. Alternatively, you can lean on their interests. If someone's saying that they play basketball every weekend with their kids, maybe they're the coach, you can tie that to your outreach and say, hey, I saw that you care about developing others, and start to make that connection. So in short, the trigger is starting to connect the person with your offer so it's connective and it makes sense. Tip number 3, possibly my favorite, cut the jargon. It's really easy to copy and paste from your company website, maybe some content from your marketing team, no offense. But what you want to do is come across as a real human being. And the way you do that is with your word choice. So a lot of times, and myself, I get prospected into, people will say, hey, I want to help streamline inefficiencies and improve excellence across your organization. But the problem is nobody really talks like that. Instead, what you can do is use real human-to-human language. Things like, hey, I'm gonna help you solve problems as you scale your content engine. Or hey, I'm gonna make it easier for your team to fill out expense reports. These are the ways that your prospect actually verbalize their problems. And so when you use that language to help solve their problems, they'll see value in your outreach. A couple examples can be, don't say the word utilize, say the words use. Don't say streamline efficiencies, say make things easier or faster. When you start to use this basic language, it'll resonate with people. Tip number 4 is keep it concise. Don't stress out on how many sentences are in your email. There's a lot of research about it, but at the end of the day, your goal is to say as much as possible in as few words as possible. This actually comes from, and I'm gonna nerd out a little bit here, a poetry class that I took in college. The whole point of the class was to dissect how people can have a ton of meaning in short sentences and powerful words. So as you're going through your emails, start to look for, where am I being wordy? Where can I cut things and make it shorter? Where can I be more concise so that the message is short and easy to read, but packs a punch? Tip number 5, and the last one for today, is pick the right CTA. Now, CTA is your call to action, and it's typically the last sentence in your email that drives your desired action. Great CTAs come down to 2 core things: what the ask is and how you word it. Now, the first part is pretty easy. You probably have the same CTA asking for a meeting or a demo. How you word it is really important because, again, you want to be clear and concise and make it easy for people to say yes. Now, one of the mistakes that people make is they constantly ask for time. Do you have 15 minutes? Do you have 30 minutes? Do you have an hour? The problem is, a lot of times when you're prospecting, you're a complete stranger and people see time as a finite resource. So they're quick to guard it instead of giving it to you. Instead, what I recommend is using the interest CTA, which instead of asking for time, scopes for interest in discussing something with you. So what you can do is ask yourself, what's in it for me? What is the prospect going to get by saying yes? Instead, what are they going to give? Right? So instead of giving time, you want to give them value. So flip it from, do you have 15 minutes to chat? And instead, Are you interested in learning how we can increase your performance through targeted coaching? Because again, if you know that they care about coaching and increasing their performance, which most people do, you'll have a much higher reply rate and book more meetings. So there you have it, 5 tips for writing unignorable sales emails. Try it out this week. Add 1 tip Monday through Friday. By the weekend, you'll have a brand new email game that'll help you write less emails but have more responses and book more meetings. And if you like this content and want to increase your sales email performance, make sure that you hit like and subscribe.